Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing great. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. And that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to follow me on my other channel, Money Rules. There are links in the description below, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. It feels like, I don't know how everyone else is currently perceiving the actual situation. It feels as if there has been a shift of some sort within the cryptocurrency space. We've already been doing okay, but the last couple of however long you want to measure it, I'm seeing like visually a lot more optimism within the market. I don't know why. Over the course of a 6-7 month period, we barely had any interest, any reaction, any new entrants as far as retail investors within the cryptocurrency space. I was reading a couple of things and they were talking about basically new projects and things that had launched, and this person said this and that person said that, and we can see the metrics beginning to move up. It feels like a switch has been flipped in some sort of way. And now more people are beginning to have faith, or whatever the case might be, within the cryptocurrency space. We are continuing with our long-standing legacy of companies and institutions buying huge amounts of Bitcoin. You might have seen, on both channels at this point, where I was ranting and raving because it did not make any sense and still doesn't. If you want to be completely and truly honest with me and yourself, all the buying that we've been seeing for Bitcoin, etc., we should have been a lot higher in price for a while. And I think until we get to and I know my number is $250,000 Bitcoin, at that point things will begin to make a little bit more sense. Anything else lower than that just feels like someone's playing a trick on us with all of this news that we keep on getting. The blockchain group, I believe they're located in Paris, not to be confused with the Bitcoin group, who we recently had in the news, and I think they're in Germany. And then there's another something company, Bitcoin-esque company, the blank something group as well. And it's like, okay, you guys can use other words now. The blockchain group has confirmed the acquisition of 116 Bitcoin, spending approximately $12.5 million US, bringing their total holdings to 1,904 Bitcoin, valued at roughly, wow, look at them, valued at approximately $202 million US. The announcement follows the final completion of a capital increase. I remember this. 2 weeks ago, we had the beginning of this in the news. This is the final completion of a capital increase that they were calling ATM type. Okay? Capital increase program with TOBAM, TOBAM, which raised about 1 million euros and facilitated the acquisition of 11 Bitcoin. Additionally, the company completed a convertible bond issuance through its Luxembourg subsidiary, raising 10 million euros to acquire 105 Bitcoin. The blockchain group reported a year-to-date Bitcoin yield of 1,348%, with a Bitcoin gain of 539.5 Bitcoin. Yeah, it continues. And I told you, I do not think it's going to stop. Part of my delusion that I had in the beginning around February is we started hearing about these companies who were entering into the space, And I kind of assume, okay, cool. You know, they purchased $38 million worth of Bitcoin. I forgot that they were going to continue purchasing. So a large portion of the week's news ends up now being new company enters space, company who we heard about before purchase, company who we heard about before purchase, company who we heard about before purchase, new company enters space, and somewhere in between there's a cluster of 5, 7, or 9 companies, not sure why that's the number, who are announcing that they're buying all at the exact same time. We had, what was it? It was the something companies for XRP. We had the 9 companies within the UK. There were 7, I think 2 weeks before, who all announced at the exact same time that they were going to be buying Bitcoin. And it's like, okay, guys, like we get it. You want all the Bitcoin for yourself. So yes, these acquisitions continue with, I almost said brute force, but that doesn't, I guess maybe kind of, I don't know what's supposed to really go there, but it shows no sign at all of letting up. There was an article around April, mid-April, somewhere around there, and there was some skeptic announcing back then that we were going to see a slowdown in the amount of companies doing this. As long as Bitcoin's price goes higher, the FOMO from these companies and institutions and governments are going to continue. If Bitcoin's price goes higher, the companies who already purchased, who have goals of owning 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 210,000 Bitcoin, they're going to start buying faster because they see that they need to get in now as opposed to when the prices are going up. And it's also the same for a lot of people within the cryptocurrency space. A lot of people, I hope, I mean, you should have. If you haven't in the last 3 years, like go talk to someone, because we've been going over this every single day. Like there's less and less for you and your family and your friends every 24 hours. That's not a joke. That's not like, you know, hopeful wishing. No, there's constantly less. And at some point there will be nothing left because that's how finite assets work. Yeah, that's the blockchain group. Has nearly 2,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to assume they're going to have that number within the next couple of weeks. And yeah, let's move on. Also in a hat on top of a hat, on top of a horse, on top of another horse. This conversation also doesn't seem to end, and I don't know. No, I assume it's basically here to stay. The idea of, and it's very childish. The idea of who's going to be like the king of the stablecoin jungle is like, all right. So about a month ago, we had news that there were rumored to be around 16 major companies who were all looking into creating their own stablecoin. We're hearing a lot more about this stablecoin bill. What do you call it? The 14th to the 18th in the United States is supposed to be, was it Bitcoin week, blockchain week, something? I don't know what's going on, but the White House or someone from the White House, it's like, okay, there's this like air of gigantic mysticism that has come from nowhere surrounding stablecoins and their prospectus for the future and how much easier they're going to make things. And it's just like, okay, I guess that makes a lot of sense if you look at it that way. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has expressed strong belief that the stablecoin market is poised for exponential growth, potentially surging from its current $250 billion valuation to a staggering 1 to 2 trillion within a handful of years. That's the number that you're going to keep seeing. The number is constantly 2 trillion. Bank of America has said it, JP Morgan Chase has said it, Fidelity has said it, BlackRock has said it. Multiple people within the space, Visa and MasterCard, they say that they believe that, really in like a year or two. We're not talking about in 15 years. We're talking about relatively soon. We're going to have a multi-trillion-dollar stablecoin market. And for whatever the reason might be, the discussion, the belief around this is that the stablecoin market is in some sort of way going to fuel or throw fuel on top of the altcoin cryptocurrency market and will cause prices to literally 10x. That's not a joke. That's one of the ideas that keeps getting thrown around, is that the more stable coins that we have, the more liquidity that we have, the more liquidity that we have, the higher prices will go, the higher prices will go, the more stable coins that we have. And it's the blah, blah, blah. Speaking on CNBC, Garlinghouse highlighted the profound growth already witnessed in the sector and Ripple's strategic positioning within this expanding landscape. If you've been here recently as well, you have seen light uptick, not gigantic, but a light uptick in the amount of Ripple stablecoin news and how this is going to change finance and how this is going to change XRP and how this is going to make XRP hit $15 and how this is going to, you name it. It's kind of all there. So apparently BNY Mellon made a announcement. BNY Mellon, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is meant to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest, I think, bank within New York. BNY apparently has selected to serve as the primary reserve custodian of Ripple's enterprise-grade stablecoin known as Ripple USD or RLUSD. BNY and Ripple are jointly committed to paving the way for digital asset adoption at institutional scale, and together are helping to bridge the, and then it kind of continues. You get the general idea. I hope that all these people who are making all these stable coins are happy at the end of the day, because it's such a huge amount of attention being paid to them. In the other videos, all these like car companies and things like that are rumored, my headphones just dropped, are rumored to be making their own stable coins, and this is going to help society, and it's like, okay, the way, I don't know. I guess we can move on. I have nothing really more to say. It's just like a cool. If you guys creating $2 trillion worth of stable coins will get prices to do a 10, 15, 20, 30x, then gosh darn it, please print away. That's the Ripple CEO talking about stablecoins growing to $2 million or $2 trillion and BNY being selected as their reserve custodian. And yeah, let's move on. When you can you answer a question for me? Like, honestly, when you hear adoption news, like, what does it do to you? As far as like, does it rile you up? Does it get you excited? Do you become bearish on the market? Do you like have a new outlook and go, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about that before. When you hear banks are entering the space, when you hear, for those of you who've missed it, about 17 banks since the beginning of the year, the news, of course, has been spread out over 100 and so days. But we've gotten tons of banks announcing that they're getting into crypto. They're going to start collecting crypto. They're going to start staking crypto. They're going to start mining crypto. They're going to start offering crypto to their clients in some form or fashion. Many of them have said by next summer, next January or summer, they're going to offer crypto trading or custody services. You kind of name it. And I ask because when I hear news like this, my mind automatically kind of does like a jump into the future. Why is this bank saying this? Why is this bank doing this? Oh, it's because other banks are also doing the exact same thing. The word's not forced, but if you fall behind, you're going to realize in your numbers, we should have done this previously before. When I say like jump into the future, I like to think of things like in January 2024, we get Bitcoin ETFs. How much of an impact is that going to have in the space? My belief was a lot. These people are going to buy up all the Bitcoin. You look at where we are right now. Correct. It's not rocket science. It's literally just numbers. So when you hear to you, I'm asking you, when you hear these things, does it make you want to buy more? Do you think that you've missed out? Like, I ask because I've spoken to so many people not in the market. I'll give them some of the same news. I'll go over like really important facts and matters, and they don't care. Like, it doesn't do anything to them. And I ask because you are in the space, does this make you buy more? Are you understanding that in 15 years, Bitcoin's going to probably be worth several $1 million per coin? Do you understand what it means, like, to be in the market right now and how early you are? Like, are you understanding all of this? Deutsche Bank. It says a German multinational investment company plans to start its cryptocurrency custody service in 2026. According to a Bloomberg report citing sources familiar with the matter, the bank will collaborate with the Austrian cryptocurrency exchange known as Bitpanda to develop this service. This move is integral for Deutsche Bank's efforts to grow in the digital asset market. One of the, if not the biggest banks in Germany has announced that they're officially getting into crypto. They're going to have cryptocurrency custody for their customers. We've heard this from large banks in France, from large banks in Spain. Banks within the UK are trying to do whatever they're doing because of all their rules and regulations. But you see the dial, if you will, ticking further and further to one side, or like literally being pushed by a gigantic Bitcoin coin. At least this is how I visualize it in my mind. We are seeing that crypto is no longer speculative. You know, prices may fluctuate, but the argument then becomes, well, every bank is getting into it. Every institution, every hedge fund. We have hundreds of companies who are buying Bitcoin. The United States of America is buying Bitcoin. There are 15 other countries that we know of who are buying and also mining Bitcoin as well. When the banks get into it, it's kind of like, okay, signed, sealed, delivered. Got it. You know, this is going to be a major thing. We had something recently as well, some gigantic hedge fund, rich person, whatever or other, who manages, what was it, $200 billion worth of assets, recently announced to his clients, you need to allocate anywhere from 10 to 40% of your wealth into Bitcoin. And I was like, we keep hearing this over and over. And a lot of times I think if the news is not, Bitcoin just went up by 25%, but instead, one of the largest banks on the planet has announced that they're going to custody crypto. Does it do it for you? Are you understanding that you are essentially wasting time while you have all of the opportunities, there we go, sitting right in front of you? There was another bank, it wasn't this one, this was maybe a week ago. They announced that they're going to have custody services, but also offer buying, selling, and trading, and all these other kinds of things. And I was like, that bank just announced that they also own Bitcoin. You can't offer someone to buy it from you unless you don't have it. They're not waiting on 1,000 people to deposit their money on there so that everyone else can trade with it. No, they are buying it up now to actually have extra liquidity for people when they enter that particular market from that bank. They're not buying $1 million worth of Bitcoin. That's not enough. They're buying hundreds of millions of dollars of it as well. So yeah, Deutsche Bank has announced in 2026 they're going to have cryptocurrency custody. I assume this is going to... I still have questions because I do wonder if the normal 4-year cycles are over. It would seem completely insane, borderline completely psychotic, if all these major banks are getting into the space, all these hedge funds, all these institutions, all these companies, all these treasury companies whose main goal is to only buy as much as they can for their shareholders, indicating they said that they will never sell. the idea of prices like going up over the course of the rest of this year, and then at some point like dramatically dipping for 3 years, it doesn't feel realistic anymore. I don't know if anyone else has that same feeling, right? That's another gigantic bank is announcing their foray into crypto. And yeah, let's move on. Also okay. This is the second time that we're hearing about this from another company, and it's, you know, everyone's different. It says Chinese microchip manufacturer. They're called Nano Labs. I guess, you know, the names works. Nano Labs has officially started what they're calling an ambitious plan to build a major treasury of Binance Coin. Yeah, so I'm going to try and put this into context for you. We have thus far had a multitude of companies announcing Bitcoin, 8 or 9 announcing that they're going to be accumulating XRP. I believe we've had 2 or 3 for Ethereum, 1 for Dogecoin, 1 for Solana a couple of months ago, and I believe 2 for Binance Coin. Binance Coin may seem a little unorthodox or weird to those who haven't known what the heck the coin is for multiple years, but they have a really huge incentive for their coin where they're continuously burning, and at this point, it's billions of dollars worth of their coin. They originally started with 200 million. They're trying to get to a maximum of 100 million, though it is rumored that they might continue burning even after that, continuing the price rise of the actual coin. Binance Coin within the industry was touted as, and is kind of like, people called it the Amazon of the space. This company kind of came out of nowhere, took over the crypto world, if you will, and they are the largest crypto exchange on the planet, I believe, by volume. And Coinbase is the largest by users. I believe that's what the term is. So it does make sense that we would see this. It just seems a little bit weird comparative to other coins that they could have chosen, but a lot of people still like Binance Coin. I think you can also stake it. I feel like that's definitely a thing. I don't think Binance would have a coin that you couldn't stake. On Thursday, the company, Nano Labs, confirmed that it had acquired $50 million worth of Binance Coin, marking the first step toward its goal of, they say, this company wants between 5 and 10% of all Binance Coin's total circulating supply. Nano Labs reiterated its long-term target of spending up to $1 billion on Binance Coin, with its latest purchase bringing its combined crypto holdings, including Bitcoin, to 160. Okay, look at them also owning Bitcoin. Approximately 160 million US dollars. Interesting. I have said before, I do think that we are going to exist on a multi-coin planet. I assume a very large portion, and I mean like 99% of the coins on the market are going to disappear because of lack of movement, lack of interest. No one's going to want to hold them, whatever. I have always assumed between 10 to 15 coins, and it's starting to sound a little bit more believable, will kind of round out what the crypto market is by the 2030s. We're going to see all these companies and these institutions only buying certain coins. And I think that that's just where the money will continue to flow. You know, just completely logical. If there are multiple, if we have, let's say in 2 years, because understand the companies who are buying crypto now, like this isn't it. We're going to have hundreds upon hundreds of companies who are going to be announcing their acquisitions. However, let's say we have 700 public companies by 2028, and they have only announced Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Binance Coin. Solana, Dogecoin, Litecoin, other coin names, at that point we will know like which coins have kind of made it. I do think there will probably be some new coins that pop up from companies, institutions, or maybe even organically. Maybe 2 more meme coins may also like really make it within the market. But what I think we're witnessing, as I stated before, is a real solidification of like where the money's going to go. I think it's interesting, the idea of Bitcoin in some people's minds. A lot of people think that Bitcoin will be the only coin. But like I said before, we don't exist on a planet where there's only the US dollar. I think that Bitcoin will dominate a gigantic percentage of the market, but I think that other coins will hold 2, 3, 4% each in value comparative to Bitcoin. But we all know that Bitcoin is the head honcho, but I do think other coins are going to make it, just from a completely logical standpoint. So yeah, here's to looking for other companies who are going to be announcing other acquisitions relatively soon, because we know that is going to happen. Okie dokie. I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I do hope that you're all doing well. Do not forget to take out time for yourself. It sounds ridiculous. I am constantly making videos and doing things, and you wouldn't begin to imagine how busy I always am. And I do forget sometimes that like that's not me time. It's simply me essentially working, if you will. Right. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.